Hello folks, this is Sula once again. Welcome to another video for Teamfight Tactics. This is taken from a normal game, and I've got a couple of people playing alongside me here. Also in this game with me are Walloper Willow, goes by Daro Arkin, but is really Willow Arkin, and JDP El Grillo. This is taken from the last patch of Set 4 before Set 4.5 releases. There weren't many changes in this patch because most of the TFT developers are currently working on Set 4.5, but we decided we'd just queue up for a few normal games and see how things look in this patch. Relatively minor changes. I think that there were some nerfs to the Elderwood comp that had been popular with Veigar and with Lulu, but by and large, things are pretty stable in this patch, which I'm quite happy to see. These last couple patches at the end of Set 4 have been really nicely balanced, and it's been fun playing the game in a, well, nicely balanced state with a lot of viable different team compositions before everything goes crazy and gets scrambled again in Set 4.5. Now in this video, we're going to be looking at a Duelist team composition, and you're going to see why I end up going Duelist in this game right from the start. We had an offensive items carousel and I took a BF sword. Then the initial minion round gives me a brawler's glove. So I have perfect items for an infinity edge. And I get a Yasuo chosen right here on the very first minion round. I guess second minion round, but first time you have an option to buy new champions. So that gets me a Yasuo chosen, and there's another Yasuo sitting there in the shop. So I'm really hoping that I will get a gold drop here in this round. I'm guaranteed to get gold either this round or the next minion round, and I'm hoping it's this one. And as it turns out, it is this round, so I can go ahead and buy up that Yasuo. So I already have 4 Yasuos, and I have an Infinity Edge, which is Yasuo's, one of his 2 really core items. He wants Infinity Edge, and he also wants to pick up a Quicksilver Sash, so he can't be CC'd. So the game is basically telling me, hey, you should be playing Duelist here. This is the comp that you should be running. And I just feel like I don't really have much of a choice. I've got to run this. It's what I've been given in terms of a chosen. It's what I've been given in terms of items. And I need to play what I'm getting. So I'm going to try to build a Duelist comp. As it turns out, this is a game where we're actually going to end up running Duelist 8, as you probably saw in the video title. So yeah, we'll be looking at that as the game goes along. Here I get a whole bunch of champions. And I realize if I sell everything, I can get 10 gold to get that extra income right from the start. So I go ahead and do that. Go ahead and make the Infinity Edge on Yasuo. Now, this is a team comp that you generally don't push to level early, and the reason for that is you have the best odds to find 1-cost units, which is what Yasuo is, if you're at lower levels. That said, I did go ahead and level from 3 to 4 right there, which is something you typically wouldn't do with this team composition, but I had the opportunity to put in a unit that would make my comp much stronger. There was a Janna sitting there in the shop. I had the opportunity to level to 4, put in the Janna, and that would get enlightened into my comp and also put Janna onto the team. So I thought that that was good enough that it was worth doing. I am not going to look to level anytime soon after this. In fact, I'm not going to level for a very long time. Just put more money into... first of all, I need to get up to 50 gold because that's where I get the most income. And then in a composition like this, you slow roll at level 5 to try and 3-star Yasuo. And we just have to cross our fingers and hope that we will be able to find a 3-star Yasuo quickly because that is core to this team composition. I do get some luck here. I'm able to find a Jax, and that's really key because Jax will make 4 Duelists. Kind of need to get to 4 Duelists to make this team composition work. And I have kind of the 4 units that you would want to play in a Duelist team composition early. You've got the chosen Yasuo. You probably shouldn't try to run Duelist as a team composition unless you've got chosen Yasuo. Then I have Jax and Fiora, and they combined with the Duelist Yasuo to give me 4 Duelists. That's important. You need to get that extra attack speed stacking up, and it really does make a big difference going from Duelist 2 to Duelist 4. That attack speed gets stacked up much more quickly. And then I also have Enlightened in play from having Janet in there. That creates the extra mana generation for the Fiora, and more importantly for the Janna. Janna's also just a great unit to have in this comp because she's going to be tossing shields onto the Yasuo, onto the Jax. She tosses shields onto the Jax to make Jax tankier, and that allows him to survive longer. Jax is your main tank in a Duelist team composition. When his ult is running, he's immune to basic auto attacks, and that's kind of his job, is to soak up those attacks and just create space for the rest of the team composition. And also, when that shield is on champions, just like in normal League of Legends, there is an AD bonus. So Janna is really important for this team comp because she provides a little bit of protection and she also adds damage. So anytime she tosses that shield on Yasuo, she's protecting Yasuo from taking damage. And she is also allowing his auto attacks to do more damage. So we're actually pretty strong here, all things considered. The big weakness is crowd control. You see Yasuo getting bubbled here by Anami. Fortunately, this person has not made a Ludens yet. This is Walloper, I shouldn't just say this person. Walloper is one of the people playing in our group. Fortunately for me, Walloper hasn't made a Ludens yet. If Walloper had made a Ludens, then I would have lost this round pretty hard. But just had half of the Ludens there, and so I'm able to win that round. And I actually end up winning the first 3 rounds. Now we end up with an unusual carousel here. There's 3 spatula items on this carousel. My top item to pick up would be a Brawler's Glove normally because Yasuo's key items all build out of the Brawler's Glove, but there wasn't a Brawler's Glove available here. The other item I would like to take would be the Negatron Cloak because the Negatron Cloak would be something that could build into a Quicksilver, but that's gone too. So out of these options that are left, I'm going to go ahead and take the spatula. It's just such a rare item. It's going to give me more opportunities down the road. And in particular, if I can find a recurve bow, that allows me to make a duelist spatula. And in fact, that is the direction I'm going to be trying to take this game in because I want to make use of that spatula. Quite nice. Now, a bit unfortunately, I haven't been finding too much the last couple shops that have popped up here. Nothing has really shown up, so I still just have the 1-star Janna, the 1-star Jax, the 1-star Fiora, and I only have 4 Yasuos, which is a little bit concerning. You would hope that here at these early levels, because I have better odds to find 1-cost units, that I'd have better odds of finding the Yasuos. But, you know, that's the way this comp works. I did level a little bit early to go to 4. I could have stayed at 3 for, I guess, 2 extra rounds. And it's 75% chance for 1-cost units at level 3. It's 55% chance at level 4. I guess you can see the odds down there on the interface. But yeah, so that was the concern, but I still stand by leveling there because I don't think I win the first 3 rounds if I don't do that. Unfortunately, I have now come up against a comp that's stronger than me. This is Grillo's comp. Grillo has done the standard. I'm going to level to level 5. He's running 4 brawlers with Maokai. I believe it's a brawler Maokai chosen in this game. And that's kind of a bad matchup for me early because the brawlers just have so much health. My duelist can't cut through their health bars fast enough. At Brawler 4, I believe they get 800 extra health. Now this is more like it. We find another Yasuo. So that's 5. Need to get up to 9 for the 3-star Yasuo. If I can find that, I'll be in good shape. And if not, I'll be in a little bit of trouble. But overall, I'm reasonably happy with how things have gone so far. Duelist is a team comp that tends to be kind of strong out of the gate right at the beginning of the game, so here in Stage 2, but it then usually falls off a cliff in Stage 3 and Stage 4 because it's just not a strong mid-game team composition, at least until you can find Yasuo 3-star. And then when you find Yasuo 3-star, it spikes again. And then there's a final spike when you can, a final spike when you can find Yone at the end of the game. That puts Extile 2 in play, and both Yasuo and Yone get 80% lifesteal. So you generally don't build lifesteal items on Yasuo because he will pick up the lifesteal from that Exile 2 later on. Now, I thought I was going to lose this game against Willow, but as it turned out, Yasuo just popped off at the end of the fight. He was able to kill the Zed that Willow was playing through, and that was kind of all she wrote at that point. So here, I find 2 things useful. I find a Yuumi, who is a useful unit for this team comp, will make Mystic along with Janna, and then provides additional shielding. And then I find another duelist as well. I find the Callista, so that's pretty useful. And I'm going to look to hold onto the Callista. I will sell the Wukong. Wukong was another unit I could have played because Wukong would make Divine for Jax, but that's not really that important for this team composition. So I would rather play the Callista over that, and I'd rather play the Yuumi over that. Yuumi and Janna just, you know, make it so your front line holds up much longer. They'll heal Yasuo, they'll shield Yasuo, etc. But then I get more really interesting stuff. I get a recurve bow here from the minion run, and I was like, that is what makes the duelist spatula. Recurve bow plus spatula. And I was like, well, I'm gonna use this. I might as well do that. So who do I put this on? Who is the most important non-duelist unit to keep in my composition? Well, it's actually Janna. Yeah. So what this means is I can put the duelist spat on Janna, and then I can put Callista in, and I've got 6 duelists, which is a very powerful setup for the team comp here. It's actually not really that bad to put the duelist spat on Janna. She is going to get increasing attack speed, There we go, 35% attack speed per stack. Again, it's a big increase over Duelist 4. Duelist 2 is 12% attack speed per stack. Then it goes to 20% at Duelist 4, so that almost doubles the benefit. And then Duelist 6 is 35%, so it almost doubles the benefit again. And Yasuo, in particular, will just get so much attack speed, he can just cut through the enemy team in a flash like that. So, like I said, it's a big deal to go from Duelist 4 to Duelist 6. Janna will stay in the back lines. I'm highlighting here. Janna shields her 2 lowest health allies for 250 damage for 4 seconds. Shielded allies also gain 20 attack damage for the duration. And then that goes up as she increases in star level. So it increases the extra AD bonus, and it also increases how much damage is blocked. So here we go. We're going to stay at level 5, and now we will slow roll to find more duelists. We need to try to 3-star Yasuo, and this is really great. I'm already up to 7. This is great luck so far. And I'm also going to be able to 2-star the Janna, which is fantastic. So here is where luck comes to the fore. I generally do not like reroll compositions in Teamfight Tactics. I just usually don't play them. I prefer pushing levels, pushing experience, getting to higher levels, trying to get to a point where you can both put more units in general, and so that you can find the more expensive units at an earlier date. So just generally, that's kind of how I prefer to play the game. By the way, Jax is getting off an unbelievable ult right there. He just tanked the entire enemy team front line for like 2 seconds and buys space for Yasuo to get in here and then just start slicing through the enemy team. It's also great having that extra duelist attack speed because Kalista now chips in quite a bit of damage as well. She almost did as much damage as Yasuo. And one of the big drawbacks to the duelist team comps is almost all the duelist units are melee. The fact that Kalista actually can attack at range is good because she doesn't get trapped on like enemies in the corner. But in any case, now we're back to rolling again. Got to look to see if we can find these units. I'm rolling slowly because I want to make sure I don't miss anything. I do find another Yasuo, so that's 8. I was like, yes, 8 Yasuos. This is fantastic. I found 8 Yasuos so fast. And I also have picked up the Xinjiao as well. So now that I've got 8 Yasuos, I was thinking, oh, this is great. I just need to find one more. I'll just go ahead and roll down and find that last Yasuo because I want to find it quickly. And I'll just look to do that after the carousel rounds because, hey, I've had great luck. I mean, I'm sure to find another Yasuo quickly because I've already got 8 of them and I only need 1 more for the 9th. And if I can find it quickly, then I can just get back to pushing levels, which is what I really want. And I'll just be in fantastic shape here. So that's the plan. Now that I've got all these Yasuos, should be easy to go ahead, find the last one, and then we can push to level 6. We can probably play the Xinjiao for either play Xinjiao for another duelist, or maybe we can find another Yuumi and put Yuumi in for Mystic, which would also be great, or something else. We'll see. We'll see what pops up, but that's the goal. Now that I have that duelist spat in play, what I'm looking for is to make a Quicksilver Sash on Yasuo. That's his other key item. So I'd really like to get the Brawler's Glove because that will be half of it. And it's generally easier to find the Negatron Cloaks than it is to find the Brawler's Gloves. Just in general, the Brawler's Gloves tend to have higher priority on Carousel. The decision's even made for me here because the Negatron Cloak's gone off the Carousel, but I'm in luck. The Brawler's Glove comes straight towards me, and I'm able to just pick it up. And now I just need to find a Negatron Cloak, and I've got the other core item for Yasuo. It's super important that he gets a Quicksilver Sash because otherwise he will get crowd controlled really, really badly. All right, so we find the 2-star Jax, and now it's time to roll. As I said, I'm just looking to roll down, and we find 2-star Fiora, and we find another Kalista. So again, this is fantastic. We find another Xinjiao, and again, I'm just looking for that Yasuo. Now, I could try to 3-star the Fiora, but I'm not going to try to do that. I don't really have enough spots on my bench, and 3-star Fiora is not that good. So here we go. Where's that Yasuo? Just need that one last Yasuo. It'll, highlight with golden borders on it, so it's not like it's going to be hard to find. Also could look to go for the 3-star Janna, but I decided I'm not going to go for that either. That's money that I'm not spending on either looking to find more units or looking to level, so I'm not going to do that. Here, Yasuo actually does get popped by Grillo's comp, so going to be tough to win this, but I've still got Kalista up. She's got the Janna shield on her, and as it turns out, that's enough. And Jax actually does the most damage in that fight, kind of amazingly. One of the cool things about the duelist comps is even though Yasuo is the carry, once they get that attack speed stacked up, pretty much anyone can do a lot of damage. But in any case, time to roll for those Yasuos again. I do see the Yuumi. I'm going to hold that for the time being. I do have the Aurelia. I'm holding Aurelia. Guys, Where's that last Yasuo again? Just need one more. I mean, we 2-star the Xinjiao, so that's not bad. But I'm not even playing that unit right now. And I 2-starred the Callista, so again, it's not like rolling down has been a total waste. I have been finding useful units here. I have managed to 2-star my entire board, which is very powerful. But where's that Yasuo? I've rolled all the way down to 10 gold. And so this is in a way this is me, not even in a way, this is me being impatient. Like I could stay over 50 gold and slow roll instead. And honestly, that's probably the smarter thing to do. I probably should have done that, but I was like, I'm at 9 Yasuos. I just want to get that last one. Can I please get that last Yasuo? So I've kind of trashed my economy here. Not great. Not good to be all the way down at 10 gold here. I actually have more units that I want to play. For instance, I'd love to play the Aurelia. She'll get me Divine and give me another good front liner. I've got a 2-star Xinjiao just sitting on the bench that I can't play right now. I could play it over the Fiora, but I actually would prefer to have Enlightened trade in for Janna. So, like, I've actually got more units than I can play right now. But, that economy. I've kind of torched my economy in the process. It's really good that I've won all these rounds because without that, I'd be in much worse shape economically. It's really good that I'm on a 6-match winning streak. So thinking again in terms of the trade-offs here, I did make my board much stronger by doing all that rolling. Like I said, I was able to 2-star a whole bunch of units, but not being able to find the Yasuo is bad. So now I've got a 2-star Aurelia and a 2-star Xinjiao on the bench. I'm just like, please give me this Yasuo so I can start leveling. Where is the Yasuo? Oh my goodness gracious. There! Finally, there it is. Oh my god. Now I can finally level, put in that Aurelia, and then we're good. And now that I've got Aurelia for Enlightened, I can actually swap out the Fiora, but I will hold on to her. Then I will go ahead and make Sunfire Cape. And as much as I'd like to make a Thief Glove here, I'm going to have to hold those 2 Brawler's Gloves because I need a Quicksilver Sash on Yasuo. So I'm going to hold items here, which again is something that you almost never see me do, but it is, I do think it's the proper call here. So we'll hold on to that Fiora because if we can find another Duelist unit, we can potentially play Duelist 8, which would be really silly. And now that we found the 3-star Yasuo, now he's just going to pop off like crazy. So now our comp has spiked hugely once again, but I need to recover my economy because I spent so much gold rolling. I probably rolled, something like 40 gold, something like that, and that's very expensive to do. I mean, like, if I had found that Yasuo quickly, I would have been in much better shape economically, but the trade-off was I did also find all those units. Like, I 2-starred my entire board. I have 3-star Yasuo, 2-star Janna, 2-star Callista, 2-star Jax, 2-star Aurelia, 2-star Xinjiao. That is very powerful to have the entire board 2-starred. Like, if you look at the other boards, pretty much, there's like 2 or 3 2-star units, and the rest are typically 1-star units. That's generally the way that these things go. So having the entire board 2-starred really did spike me in power. So that does make me very powerful here in the short run. And now I need to recover my economy so I can be strong in the long run and push to higher levels where I can find Yone and Lee Sin, who are the key late game units for this team composition. Willow actually has a lot of 2-star units as well, and he's also even managed to find a early Ezreal here for his team composition. By the way, note that Yasuo is getting CC'd here repeatedly. If he could just get that Quicksilver Sash, he'd be so much stronger. But again, with my entire board being 2-starred, I'm just so strong at this stage of the game. Look at that damage chart. It's like very evenly split damage amongst my entire team. So that's one of the nice features. Basically, everyone on the team is in a position where they can contribute. I should also mention I have gotten a ton of Fioras. This is like maybe the 10th or 11th Fiora. So I definitely could have 3-starred the Fiora if I'd been holding them. And maybe that would have been the right play. I don't know. I guess one of the other arguments for grabbing the Fioras is every time you hold a Fiora, she's a 1-cost unit. So she's coming out of the pool of 1-star units. And it does slightly increase your odds to see Yasuo because you're removing those other 1-cost units from what can show up. It doesn't have much of an effect because I believe that there's 27 of each 1-cost unit. So it's pretty marginal, but it doesn't hurt. And, having a 3-star Fiora wouldn't be bad. I'd probably be playing the 3-star Fiora if I had it as an option right now. So yeah, we're still very strong. And we just cut right through Grillo's comp. Like, his front line's not even there because we got a 3-star Yasuo with an Infinity Edge, and he's got Duelist 6, making him attack faster. Plus, he's got the Janna shield on him for 30 extra attack damage. So, we strong, boys. Very strong right now. Not much question about that. And the question now is, how long will this last? Because I have like I said, I did really hurt my economy by rolling so much there. I made my team stronger, but hurt the economy. So now I'm just hoping I can win streak as long as possible and then push levels to try to find Yone and Lee Sin. Now, the good news on this carousel is my top item is a Negatron Cloak, and there are two of them here, and it doesn't look like people are going for them. So I'm going to go ahead and get my Quicksilver Sash for Yasuo, and that's really important because now he is immune to crowd control for the first 10 seconds of each fight. And 10 seconds is usually all he really needs. Most of these fights are over in about 10 seconds anyway, because Yasuo stacks up that attack speed and he just kind of destroys everybody. So that's that's kind of it as far as what we see there. So give me that Quicksilver. There we go. Immune to crowd control for the first 10 seconds of combat. And now I can finally start putting XP and leveling. I leveled when I was level 3, and then I didn't level again until just now. First time I put XP... Oh, no, that's not true. I leveled... I did level at the very end of level 5. I was at... I needed 4 XP to level, so I went ahead and did that so that I could go ahead and play the Aurelia to get Enlightened Trait and Divine Trait in, which is really useful for them. Now I've got one more Brawler's level on my bench. My ideal last item for Yasuo, the best in slot would be to get a tier so that he could then make a Hand of Justice for his last item. It's super good on Yasuo. He can use both the life on hit, he can also use the bonus extra damage if the fight goes on. So either option that he rolls would be super duper useful on him. And now I'm just in the process of knocking out that Set who is in timeout. And I just need to win one more round and I can carry this winning streak through the minion round. I'm actually on a 10-match winning streak right now because my comp spiked so hard by 2-starring every unit. And now I can look to put in some XP. I think I have enough to go to 7 here, which would be useful just so I can get another unit in. I don't have a great unit to put in, but I could put in the Fiora just to get... I mean, it would make 7 Duelists, which isn't anything in particular, but it's like if you're 2 XP away from leveling and you're on a 10-match winning streak, you go ahead and level just so that one extra unit might be enough to carry the win streak over for another round, and that's totally worthwhile to do. So yeah, 7 Duelists. Like I said, I need to find one more to get to 8 Duelists, and the only ones I don't have, I think Lee Sin's the only one I don't have at the moment. I'd have to double check. I might be missing someone else, but I think Lee is the only unit that I'm missing out on. This is a tightly packed keeper comp, and we're trying to get Yasuo in. He's getting low, and can he survive to the end of the fight? Yes, just barely. So we're able to survive, and unfortunately that was a ghost round. We would have done a ton of damage because every single unit survived that fight. I'm basically like one stage behind where I should be in leveling. Like I'm hitting 7 here at the very end of stage 4. Typically you'd be hitting 8 at the very end of stage 4, so like I'm one level behind pretty much. But the good news is I have a ton of health banked, and I'm on an 11-match win streak, and I was able to preserve my win streak through that minion round. So now we'll get that carried over, and we should get the max income going into this round. I'm really hoping a tier will drop. A tier would be my top item for that Hand of Justice, and I'll be sitting pretty if I can get that. Yeah, Lee's the only one I don't have, so I would have to find Lee Sin if I wanted to get the 8 Duelists into play. Amusingly, Janna's portrait shows up there. Janna is not a Duelist normally, but since she's got the Duelist spat, her portrait pops up there on the list of who the Duelists are. It's kind of amusing the way that works. And oh, unfortunately, we do not get a tier there, and that's a bit of a shame. So as far as items I can make here, I want to, again, get use out of these items here. I also don't have another unit to put in, so we'll stay at 7. So I was thinking about what I could do with the items here, and I was like, well, I think we'll make a Zephyr out of 2 of these items, and I think I'll make a Jeweled Gauntlet here. Yeah, I mean, it's not great on Yasuo, but it does give him extra crit chance, and it does mean that his ult have the chance to critically strike. I believe that's how that works. So I think that when he actually uses his ult, it'll do increased damage. So this is not an ideal item. It's honestly not great on Yasuo, but it does give him extra critical strike chance. So I don't think it's terrible. And I'm just trying to make the best use I can of the items that I've got here. Again, I want to keep this win streak going. It's very important the win streak continues so that I can keep leveling as quickly as possible to 8 and possibly to 9, although we'll have to see how that goes. But like I think it's worthwhile to use my items here, even if they're not perfectly ideal. Keep the win streak going. Keep pushing to higher levels. I really need to be at level 8 to have a realistic chance to find Yone and to find Lee Sin. You might have also noticed I'm not trying to 3-star any of these other duelists. Yes, maybe I could 3-star the Xinjiao. We've been seeing a fair amount of Xinjiaos pop up in the store, but I can't know ahead of time who is going to be the duelist that'll show up. Like maybe I just grab 3 Xinjiaos and I never see any of the others ever again. And it does cost me it does cost money to do that. By holding them in the store, I would just prefer to push, because I had to roll so much in terms of leveling earlier. I would prefer to push levels, try to roll down, or not roll down, try to get to level 8 and 9 more quickly. And I value that, and I value finding Yone in particular more than I value trying to 3-star, like, I don't know, Xinjiao or something. Like, I think it's better to find Yone than it is to try and get a 3-star Xinjiao. So that's the logic there. And unfortunately, I'm going to knock out Walloper here early in the round. He had a really strong setup there with the Nami, but Yasuo just ignores crowd control when he's got that Quicksilver, so he can just go right through the bubbles and start slashing through the enemy team. I was also hoping to find Shen, and I finally do find him there. So I'm very happy to get that. And then I see, once again, I can level to 8. I was like, well, I'll take Fiora out. And then I was like, wait a minute. Well, I'm just going to go to 8 and put Fiora right back in, so we might as well keep her in there. You also might notice me shuffling Jax around. Well, the reason for that is I keep seeing Grillo's comp. I haven't seen Grillo in a while. I'm trying to position my Jax with the Zephyr to take out that Yone, because that is a very strong unit. And I keep thinking I'm going to hit Grillo, and then I keep not hitting Grillo because someone keeps getting knocked out of the game. And every time someone gets knocked out of the game, it resets who you can be up against. So we're up against Willow instead. And unfortunately for this round, Yasuo wasn't really able to get on anyone for the other team. Up against this assassin type comp that Willow's running. And oh, that Pike stun. Oh, did you see Pike stunned Yasuo at the very end of that combat? And because his Quicksilver had run out of its 10-second duration, Yasuo was not immune to crowd control, and so he just kind of stood there like an idiot while Zed killed him. So the win streak does come to an end. I think that was like 13 rounds in a row. And that was super duper important because it allowed me to recover my economy after I rolled all that gold. Rolled all the way down to 10 gold at level 5. So, like I said, that was a great win streak, and it put me back in the match. All right, so now we've got items here. There's a number of useful things that I could find here. I think my top item would be the Thief's Glove, just because that'll be great in general, but that's taken by Grillo. So out of the options that are left, I'm trying to see, what did I end up taking here? I think I end up taking the great late game item, the Shroud of Stillness. Yes, great late game item to hit other team comps. It's a bit unfortunate that I did put the Jeweled Gauntlet on Yasuo, because I could have put a Deathblade on him as a last item, and that would have been a fantastic last item to toss onto him. So I wasn't able to, didn't have a slot open for that, which again was probably a mistake, to use the Jeweled Gauntlet, put the Jeweled Gauntlet instead of just holding to find something better. Deathblade certainly would have been way better. But I still get a useful item here. Shroud of Stillness, really useful. It is bad in the early game, but it's fantastic in the late game. If I can position this correctly, I can slow down how early everyone on the enemy team is going to cast. Well, everybody who's in a straight line. Once again, still positioning here for Grillo. I'm like, I haven't seen Grillo in ages. I'm surely going to hit his comp. But nope. Not Grillo, this other player who's not one of our group, SPCTXW. Unfortunately, my Shroud totally whiffs, doesn't hit anything, but Yasuo was able to get on one of the enemy team's carries and start punching through. Can we get to that, what is it? Can we get to that, wow, Veigar. Sometimes I just lose the names when I'm doing these. So can we get to Veigar? He's got a ton of spell vamp with the double Gunblade there. But fortunately, Kallista's on it. So Yasuo and Kallista are able to carry us through, even though that was a bit of a tricky comp. Here, once again, I'm just pushing levels. I still haven't found Yone yet. I still haven't found Lee Sin yet. I haven't had great luck. I guess I haven't been at level 8 for very long. But I didn't find them at 7, didn't find them at 8. I haven't rolled at all at either of these levels, though. So with 83 health in my back pocket, the best thing to do now is just to get to level 9 and roll for them at level 9. I can afford to lose some rounds here. And in fact, I'm expecting to lose some rounds here because I haven't rolled since I was at level 5. So I haven't really found that much, but I'm still in pretty good shape here overall. Now, this comp, CXLO, is running a Zed-based comp, and this is kind of a problem for me because it's difficult for me to get on the Zed and kill the Zed. You can see the Zed with that rapid-fire cannon is just sitting in the corner and drops aggression with shade periodically, and we actually don't have much success at all. The other thing that makes this comp really scary is not only does Zed have perfect items, there's a double Zeke's powering up that Zed, and that's really, really quite problematic because Zed gets really, really strong, not only with perfect items, but also with double Zeke. So I was like, oh boy, I hope that guy doesn't make a 3-star version of that Zed, or I'm really going to have trouble dealing with that comp. I don't know how I would deal with the 3-star Zed, other than just hoping that I can get into late game units, and maybe if I can 2-star like a Yone, but that's going to be tricky. We also then get the, what is it, the Rift Herald that's got the 3 items on it. Unfortunately, these items aren't great for me. There's a Morello's, there's a Death Cap, there's a Chalice. And now part of the reason why these items are not great is I can't have units stand next to Yasuo because he's got the exile trait. He has to be alone. So that Chalice is not super useful. The Death Cap is interesting. The Death Cap I strongly considered putting on Callista, and I think in retrospect it might have been better to put on Callista. But I went ahead and went to 9, and now I'm looking to roll. I'm looking to try to find something. I do find the set there, and Yone, there he is. So now I don't need Yuumi. I'll just play the Yone, and that will go ahead and get us Exile 2, which is so important for this team composition. Now Yasuo will have 80% lifesteal. So I ended up putting the Morellos and the Death Cap onto Yone. I think that the Morellos was a good call there because Yone, when he charges, can apply that Morellos onto people, but I don't think it was the right call to put the Death Cap. I think the Death Cap actually would have been better on Callista. It's a really good item on Callista. It makes her rend much more powerful. Unfortunately, here we knock out Willow. He was also running a Zed comp, and that's kind of bad for me because all those Zeds go back into the pool, and the other player, CXLO, now has access to those Zeds. So I was like, oh, that's not great. But I will go ahead and make use of that Chalice. We'll go ahead and put it on Janna for right now. I'm hoping that I can find Zilean and then just replace Janna with Zilean. I don't need Janna for Enlightened. I have Enlightened coming from Irelia. So that's what I'm hoping to find. And then I just like to 2-star some of these units. So now we'll just roll here and see if we can find anything. Not there, but we also still haven't found Lee Sin yet, and we'd sure like to find Lee Sin. That's the hope there. Now, remember how I was positioning for Grillo? Well, I do manage to get the Zephyr on the Yasuo, or excuse me, the Yone. So that's quite nice. And I got a good Shroud, too. I managed to Shroud a good bunch of his team. The only problem is he's got a 2-star Zilean in the back line there, and that is kind of an issue. Also, we were not able to get on top of the Ashe and kill the Ashe. Not before the Yasuo on my team gets killed. And Jax is doing his best. He's trying to run that ult, but no, not quite able to. Then Callista gets taken out. So even though I think the positioning was just about perfect in that fight there, I got the Shroud in a good spot. I got the Zephyr. Still not strong enough. That Zilean 2-star, pretty scary. It means that all those units are going to come back to life again. And there's Zilean, by the way, has shown up now. So let's get Zilean in play. We'll go ahead and just replace Janna. Janna, you are awesome. But this will allow me to move that Duelist Spat over to Yasuo, who's a better user of... Or Yone. God, I always get their names confused. But Yone definitely can use it better. And uh-oh, this is trouble. CXLO has now managed to 3-star the Zed. That's not what I want. Also, kind of need to move that Jack so he's not right next to Yone. And here we find another Yone, so I'll just lock for that. And then hopefully I can maybe find a 2-star Yone at some point. Alright, unfortunately the video freezes here for a little bit, but it'll get fixed. Unfortunately, I can't do anything about it on this pre-recorded footage. So, I mean, we killed the rest of the team just fine, but 3-star Zed, powered up by double Zeeks? Uh-oh. Yeah, I said that before, and that's going to be a problem, because I don't really have any way of dealing with that, and I can't crowd control the Zed because he's got a Quicksilver. All I can do is hope these fights drag out, and that Quicksilver will time out, and then we can CC the unit. So the good news is there's another Yone here on the carousel. So I will happily grab him. And because Yone has full items, the Brawler's Glove will pop off and we'll be able to use it for another unit. And then I've actually got an extra Quicksilver Sash here that I can make from these two. So that's pretty nice. So I guess that is one of the benefits to putting the Death Cap and the Morellos on Yone, that the item would then pop off and I'd be able to make a Quicksilver. I was trying to think who the most valuable person to put the Quicksilver on happened to be. I think that it is the Callista. I think that she's the best person who can make good use of it because she is kind of the... I mean, Yasuo's the primary carry. Yone's the secondary carry. Now that Yone's 2-starred, I am a lot stronger. But then Callista's kind of the third carry after that. I really wish I had one attack speed item to buff her up. So now I can be up against either Grillo or the Zed player, CXLO, and I don't know who I'm going to be up against. So here, we actually don't get off a very good Shroud, which is unfortunate. But the difference is now I have 2-star Yone, and that makes a huge difference for my team composition. So with Yone charging into the back lines, we can actually get on top of Ashe. We can start carving our way through these champs. And yeah, the Yone just makes such an enormous difference right here. So unfortunately, this is going to be it for Grillo. I've knocked all of my friends out of the game. I knocked out Walloper, I knocked out Willow, and I knocked out Grillo. And I'm sorry about that. Just one of those things that happens. So here we do finally find the Lee Sin, and I was like, oh, cool. Well, let's go ahead and play 8. Let's go ahead and play 8 Duelists so we can get that 60% attack speed per stack. And the unit to come out is Aurelia. Now, I probably should have held the Aurelia. Because that would allow me to keep the Adept in play. And honestly, getting 3 Adept is probably better at this point. Now I need to make sure that the Exiles don't have units standing next to them, which I don't manage to do. I still have Lee standing next to Yasuo, which is a big mistake. But I do get off a good Shroud, so that's one nice thing. The problem is I still don't have a good way to deal with that Zed. If you look, no one is on the Zed. And, like, again, unfortunately, Yone charges in the wrong direction. If he charges onto the Zed, maybe we've got a shot. But nope. So we're going to lose this round. And that did not go the way I wanted it to, unfortunately. So, yeah, we're just trying to figure out some way to deal with this team composition. And I don't have great answers for that. I can't use my Zephyr because it'll be blocked by the Quicksilver. I don't know. Just going to try to work this out. Well, now, while we've got a minute here in the minion round, let me just talk about 8 Duelist briefly. 8 Duelist is 60% attack speed per stack, which is really nutty. Like 60% attack speed every time anyone makes an auto attack, anyone who's a Duelist at least, which is like my whole team. Now, the thing about 8 Duelist is it's kind of not that good, even though it sounds like it would be amazing on paper. And the thing is, you don't really need that much attack speed. It's honestly overkill. What I really should do is I should probably drop down to 6 Duelist and play more legendary units. I think that that's honestly better, is just to play more legendaries as opposed like what if I were to get oh no, I sell the Lee Sin by accident. I meant to sell the Lilia and I sell the Lee Sin. No. Oh boy, that's really bad. But like I said, I think it would legitimately be better just playing the what if I put a 2-star Azir in here for crowd control, or a 2-star Lilia in here to maybe sleepy time some of the units on the enemy team. I think that would definitely be better to drop down to 6 Duelists, but I had never played 8 Duelists before. I wanted to have a chance to just experiment with it, but I think in all honesty it would be better to run 6 Duelists and play more legendary units as opposed to stacking all of these. Well, it's been good thus far, but I have lost these 2 rounds. Like, I can see here's the Azir, but I really am looking to try to find a 2-star version of the Zilean and a 2-star version of the Lee Sin. Unfortunately, I stupidly sold the Lee Sin, which was like the dumbest thing possible. It's like, yeah, and then I go buy a Lee Sin without even purchasing it. Ugh, could have had the 2-star Lee Sin. Now, he wouldn't have any items, but he would still have the Duelist attack speed bonus. So again, what I'm trying to do here is I'm just trying to do different positioning. I don't have a great sense for like what might be ideal, but I'm just trying to reposition here, trying to get that Shroud on the enemy team. And I actually do get a really good Shroud here. I managed to hit the Azir, which I think is one of the key units to Shroud on that enemy team. But like, it's all about whether we can get on top of this Zed. Jax actually manages to get in a great position, and he's going to get revived briefly. So can we get onto that Zed? The Quicksilver has run off now, and Yone actually pops the Zed on the enemy team. I was like, oh, whoa, wait a minute. Maybe we got a shot here. Yone just charged onto the Zed and popped him. So I was like, I only need to win one more round here. I mean, yes, that person has 20 health, but you take a ton of damage in every single round here in stage 7. So can we do this? Like, if I can just win this round, I can actually win this game. And maybe the positioning is a little bit better up here. I think maybe having Callista positioned away from where those assassins are going to be jumping, maybe that's what I need. But I'm just trying to test out different things. I want to get that Shroud into a good position. So let's see if we can do that. And I'd love to get that Zephyr on somebody good. I think I might get the Zilean here on the enemy team. We got one of the Zileans. There are 2 of them. So once again, it's a pretty good Shroud. And Yone, he charged it right through, pops one of the key units. Now, can we get on the Zed? That Quicksilver is going to time out. Come on, Yone, I need you to pop the Zed. And he does! Hooray! RNG for the win. So we actually are going to get that. By the way, the other player actually tapped, "Can you forfeit?" in the chat. Didn't pop up on my screen. I think it might have been when the video was hiccuping. But yeah, that's why you don't forfeit, because there's always a chance to win those rounds. Woo! Well, anyway, I hope that that was entertaining. I wanted to give a chance to show Duelist 8 gameplay. I did a Yasuo video earlier, but it was live commentary, so I think that this post-commentary hopefully is a little bit interesting. Anyway, hope you enjoyed this video. Until next time, thanks for watching. Hope you guys have a great week, and I will see you guys again soon.